You are listening live to Football Live.
Here is your host, John Kane.
Good afternoon and welcome to our new edition of Football Live, Saturday the 14th of December 2024 from our London studios with your host, John Kane. We'll be keeping an eye on all the Premier League games, all four of them. We also have an eye on Mainz against Bayern Munich, which is already half an hour gone in that game. And of course, keeping tabs on the rest of the big games and around Europe and around the world. Now, after a long week of European football, the English teams raising the Premier League flag, in fact. Chelsea winning in the Conference League, Manchester United with a win and an away draw for Spurs in the Europa League, and big wins for Aston Villa, Liverpool, Arsenal and... Sorry, I have to pull the brakes on myself here. I was getting carried away. Manchester City lost to Juve, so the old lady of Italy managed to beat Manchester City, and they were the only Premier League team who did not win in Europe over the last 5 days or so. I'll be discussing this with our reporter Billy Andrews on the Manchester derby, which is happening tomorrow. But first, he's watching Liverpool against high-flying, the informed Fulham, and he's going to give us the team news and the early stages of the game. Good afternoon, Billy.
Good afternoon, John. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it's 3 changes for the visitors. Fulham, as Marco Silva makes 3 changes from the side that held out for that 1-1 draw with Arsenal. Calvin Bassey drops out through injury and is replaced by George Coetzee. Harry Wilson replaces Adama Traore, and Andreas Pereira is preferred to Emil Smith-Rowe. 4 changes for the Liverpool side that were last in action over 10 days ago. The headline news is that Alisson replaces Kelleher, having returned to action in the midweek win over Girona. First league appearance for Alisson since October. Elsewhere, Trent Alexander-Arnold replaces Jarrell Konsa. Dominic Szoboszlai is chosen ahead of Alexis McAllister, who misses out through suspension. And Luis Diaz comes in for Darwin Núñez. Diogo Jota and Federico Chiesa are both on the bench after spells out injured. So the full lineup for Liverpool, it's Alisson in goal. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson. A midfield 3 of Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and then it's Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah up front. They've only just kicked off, nothing really happening in the opening few seconds of this game, but they've only lost 3 games in the last 60 at Anfield, so it's an uphill battle for Fulham at Anfield, 0-0.
Thank you very much, Billy Andrews. Next, let's go for Arsenal against Everton. We've got Paul James watching this one. Arsenal, if they win today, they'll go to second place, overtaking Chelsea, who are playing Brentford tomorrow. But until then, Arsenal have to win today. Good afternoon, Paul James.
Good afternoon, John. Good afternoon, Football Live listeners. Well, this is an informed Arsenal team. 12 goals in the last 5 league games. They line up as follows, with David Raya in goal, Miles Lewis-Skelly making his first league appearance, his first league start this season, Gabriel, William Saliba, Jurrien Timber, Mikel Morena, Jorginho, Martin Odegaard, the captain, Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz and Bukayo Saka. 4 changes within that Arsenal side today. Thomas Partey, Jakub Kivior, Jorginho and Leandro Trossard make way. On the flip side, Everton, prior to that 4-0 victory over Wolverhampton Wanderers, hadn't scored in 4 games. They make just the 1 change today from that victory. The injured Dwight McNeil steps away for Jack Harrison, and we're early on here. We've got 3 minutes gone, both sides just feeling each other out at the moment. It's Arsenal 0, Everton 0 at the Emirates.
Thank you very much, Paul. Paul James watching Arsenal against Everton. Next, we'll head to Newcastle. They're at home to Leicester City, and Kane Wears is watching that one for the early stages of the team news. Good afternoon, Kane.
Good afternoon, John, and good afternoon, Football Live. And St James's Park is the stage this afternoon where, under pressure, Eddie Howe's side looks to get a much-needed win to take them back into the top half of the league. But Leicester, on the other hand, have been buoyed by the arrival of Ruud van Nistelrooy, who's already led the Foxes to a thumping victory over West Ham and an impressive comeback to claw a point against Brighton as they look to distance themselves from the relegation zone. And Eddie Howe's made 4 changes to the side that were beaten by Brentford last time out, and Sandro Tonali returns to the starting 11, replacing Sean Longstaff. Anthony Gordon also makes a welcome return to the side, coming in for Harvey Barnes, who is on the bench against his former side. Martin Dubravka's in for the injured Nick Pope, while Emil Kraft is absent from the squad and replaced by Tino Livramento. Ruud van Nistelrooy, though, has made 3 changes to name his third Leicester City starting 11. Hamza Chowdhury makes his first Premier League start for the Foxes. He starts alongside Oliver Skipp in the absence of both Wilfred Ndidi and Boubacar Samari. And Steffi Mavadidi replaces Jordan Ayew. So far, a poor start from Newcastle, giving some poor fouls away in cheap succession there, and giving a free kick out on the left-hand side of Leicester City. But so far, 4 minutes into Newcastle 0, Leicester 0.
Thank you very much, Kane. Next, we'll head to the big game, and it is a big game between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Ipswich. They're both 18th and 19th, deep into relegation, and they're 3 points just below 17th, who are Crystal Palace, who got 13 points. Watching this one for us is our very own Russ Vernon. Good afternoon, Russ.
Good afternoon, John. Good afternoon, everybody. It's still 0-0 and Molyneux 4 minutes on the clock. Wolves have made just the one change, with Bellegarde coming in for the suspended Gomez. As for Kieran McKenna and Ipswich Town, they make 3 changes for the side which lost 2-1 to Bournemouth last time out. Harry Clark comes in for Johnson, who drops to the bench. Wes Burns comes into the side, replacing Jack Taylor, who drops down to the bench. And Jean Christophe comes in for the injured Sammy Smodics. Still 0-0 and Molyneux in the big game down at the bottom of the table in the Premier League. It's Wolves 0, Ipswich Town 0.
Thank you very much, Ross. Now, we just say we keep an eye on the German Bundesliga, and it can't get any better from Mainz playing Bayern Munich. We got Richard Frackerton, who's watching this game for us for Bayern Munich, who are at the moment, they're 5 points above Bayer Leverkusen. Leverkusen are winning 1-0 away to Augsburg. So, Richard Frackerton, good afternoon to you, and I'm sure it's a game that Bayern Munich want to win that game.
Good afternoon to you, John. Yes, it remains here, Mainz 0, Bayern Munich 0, but it hasn't been a dull 0-0 with 35 minutes on the clock. I mean, there have been early chances. Elise for Bayern Munich hitting the post, and clean through went Burkhardt of Mainz, but he couldn't get his shot on target. And to make things worse, the 10-goal striker had to come off with an injury to be placed by Siem. But so far, with 35 minutes on the clock, it's 0-0 between Mainz and Bayern Munich.
Thank you very much, Rich. Yeah, just for info, Bayer Leverkusen, we'll keep in tab on that game as well. They're leading Augsburg by 1-0 away from home. That keeps them 5 points behind Bayern Munich. And third and fourth, Eintracht Frankfurt and RB Leipzig are playing tomorrow. So that will be the big game in the German Bundesliga. Of course, it's not as big as the Manchester derby, but nevertheless, it's a big game in the Bundesliga. Let's go back to Billy Andrews, because Billy has already seen a chance for Liverpool and a yellow card for Fulham.
A chance for Liverpool and now a yellow card apiece. I'll tell you about the Fulham one first. It was Issa Diop who got booked after 5 minutes for a stray boot on Andrew Robertson. He was moving a little bit gingerly, the Scotsman, but he's up now, he's fine. He's got Harry Wilson to contend with on this right-hand side of the Fulham attack. And Luis Diaz has just been booked for what was deemed a high boot by the referee this afternoon. That was the chance. It was a lovely ball in from Cody Gakpo, overhead kick from Luis Diaz, but he caught Georges Coenza in the head, and he's been booked for that effort as Luis Diaz. Curtis Jones almost had a chance there, but he was just muscled off the ball by Issa Diop. It's a very even game so far. 9 minutes gone, 0-0.
I can tell you, at half-time in the Nigeria MPFL, it's Lobby Stars 1, Plateau United 0 as it stands. The remainder of the German Bundesliga, they played about anything between 39 and 40 minutes. We mentioned Augsburg leading away by Leverkusen leading Augsburg away by 1-0. Still 0-0 in the game. They'll keep an eye on with Richard Frackerson. It's still 0-0. That's between Mainz and Bayern Munich. Union Berlin 1, Bochum 1. Bochum playing with 10 men. And Borussia Mönchengladbach are leading Holstein Kiel by 2-1. Let's head back to the Emirates. And Paul James is watching that game. We were expecting probably early chance for Arsenal, but nevertheless, it's one for the away side.
Yes, indeed, and it was a super move by Idrissa Gueye. He played the ball long, a good 50-yard pass found Abdoulaye Doucouré at his feet inside the penalty area. He had all the time in the world. Unfortunately, it took more than that. And Gabriel was able to get back and make a superb challenge. On the other end, Arsenal had a chance. It was a really good ball down the left-hand side by Saliba, played in Gabriel Martinelli, who struck the shot, and it was deflected behind by James Tarkowski. Both sides early chances here. 9 minutes gone, 0-0.
Thank you very much, Paul. In the La Liga, just finished. Espanyol 0, Osasuna 0. So maybe a good draw for both teams. And I can tell you, we have got a goal at Liverpool. Our first goal after 10 minutes, it falls for Fulham. It's Liverpool 0, Fulham 1, and we also got a game in the Bundesliga. 41 minutes gone, and it's Mainz 1, Bayern Munich 0. So two teams who are favourite for their games, they've already conceded a goal. Fulham have scored, and Mainz have also scored. But I can tell you the Mainz goal is under VAR. Doesn't seem to be any VAR thing at Liverpool. So we'll be going to Billy Andrews very, very shortly. But first, let's go to Kane Weirs, who can tell us about a chance for Newcastle.
Yeah, great opportunity for Newcastle. And it's Anthony Gordon, who spoke about all of the noise surrounding him over the summer about potentially leaving Newcastle. He picks the ball up on the left, just cuts in on the right-hand side, onto his right foot, fires an absolute venomous shot towards Hermansen, going in the top corner, and a great save by the goalkeeper. And from the resulting corner as well, Bruno Guimaraes just takes a short corner, plays it into Gordon just to change the angle, whips the ball back post, and Dan Burns then, he just heads it over. But a great start of the game so far for both sides who are making it end-to-end. But 11 minutes in, still Newcastle 0, Leicester 0.
We'll just say at the beginning of the show, high-flying, unformed Fulham, and they proved to be absolutely just that, isn't it, Billy Andrews?
It is indeed. It's a fantastic goal for Fulham. And Andreas Pereira, who'd only just been booked moments before for a foul on Ryan Gravenberch. But Andy Robertson loses the ball. Sander Berg pings one into the feet of Harry Wilson. He plays a crossfield pass to Alex Iwobi, who has the base of mind to find Robinson, his left back overlapping down the left-hand flank. He whips in a fantastic ball, and Pereira is there at the back post by Andy Robertson to throw his leg at it, and it flies past Dallas. And 12 minutes gone at Anfield. It's Liverpool 0.
Let's go back to Arsenal while we wait for Richard Freckleton. Let's go back to Arsenal. In fact, no, let's go to Richard Freckleton. Richard, Mainz, how did they score?
My goodness, this is a turn-up for the books. I mean, non-stop pressure from Bayern Munich it was. And the goal from Mainz, it's 1-0. It was a corner from Bayern Munich, and they hit them on a counter-attack. And Lee got a shot in, and it deflected and went past Barrett in goal for Bayern Munich. It's a turn-up for the books. But with, 41 minutes on the clock, it's Mainz 1, Bayern Munich 0.
And I can tell you that Bayer Leverkusen just extended their lead away to Augsburg. Now they're leading by 2-0. Let's go to Paul James, who's got a chance for Arsenal. Has there been an improvement from the arm side?
Yes, it was a good build-up, actually. The ball found its way to Martin Odegaard on the edge of the area. Unwisely, the Everton defence backed off, and allowed Odegaard to get the shot away, which beat Jordan Pickford all ends up. But it was the wrong side of the post as far as Martin Odegaard and Arsenal are concerned. Everton haven't created much since before that opportunity. And with 13 minutes gone, it is Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
Thank you very much, Paul. There's a few games happening in the Championship. Actually, 3 games happened early on. It finished Bristol City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Coventry beat Hull by 2-1, and Preston 1, Leeds 1. 3rd minute injury time for Leeds just secured that point for the away side. At the moment, after about 15 minutes, still 0-0 in the games between Blackburn and Luton, Oxford United and Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United and Plymouth, and Stoke and Cardiff, and Swansea are leading Sunderland by a 1-0, and likewise Middlesbrough are leading Millwall by a 0-0. Let's go to Kane West. There's another chance for Newcastle, and we were expecting it to be probably a one-sided game, don't we?
Yeah, and it's Bruno Guimaraes with a chance, and he scored twice in Newcastle's 2-1 win against Leicester City back in April 2022 when they both met last. And it's a great little combination play, and it's Alexander Isak switches the ball over at Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side. Anthony Gordon just has a little back heel down the line for Lewis Hall, who's overlapping around the outside. He just delivers a great cross into the box, and it's good. Bruno Guimaraes just at the back post and heads it over the bar. Really good opportunity for Newcastle, and something they should do better with. But Leicester City are far from out of this game and are having chances as well. But 15 minutes in, still Newcastle 0, Leicester 0.
We love the early goals, and now is a goal of Molineux. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Ipswich Town 1. So that's a great goal from Ipswich. They do play a very good football, I must say. And likewise for Wolves, but at the end of the day, both teams stuck in the relegation zone is no good for nobody. So the 3 points is going to be absolute vital today. I can tell you they're still playing in Augsburg. They're losing by 2-0, and I can tell you Liverpool have got a player sent off already in the game. 16 minutes gone. Liverpool 0, Fulham 1, and there's a red card for Liverpool. We'll be going back to Billy Andrews to explain what is happening at Anfield. What is going on with Liverpool? A game that what we thought is going to be a bit hard, but we weren't expecting it to be that hard. Already a goal down and a man down. Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. Still 0-0 in the game between Arsenal and Everton. Likewise between Newcastle and Leicester. And Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Ipswich Town 1. I'm just still waiting for the confirmation on who actually got sent off. It seems like a straight red, or I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest. But we'll wait for Billy Andrews to give us more information. Billy, you're here now. Tell us, who's the red card for?
It's for Andrew Robertson. I said he was moving gingerly after that tackle from Issa Diop. He's not recovered at all this half. He's had a torrid time against Harry Wilson. And it's just a long ball diagonally across towards Wilson. Robertson gets there first, but it's a poor touch, allowing Wilson in front of him. Gets in front, takes the man out. Last man, Raul Jimenez, went to chip it over the keeper. But Van Dijk cleared it off the line. Referees had no choice but to send him off. They are just having a look at this VAR to see if Wilson is offside. It's close. So if you want to come back to me, I can confirm when VAR have confirmed to us whether he was offside or not. But as it stands, Liverpool 1 goal down and a man down. Andrew Robertson, straight red card.
I mean, Billy, Andrew Robertson is one of these really consistent players, isn't it? And he's probably going to be one of probably the last people that I would probably think that he'll get an early red card, wouldn't he?
Yeah, 17 minutes is way too early for a player of his style and quality. The tackle is a foul, nailed on. There's no issue with that. Well, they are just still checking the offside. So if you want to talk about that Ipswich goal and come back to me, I'll let you know as soon as I know.
Thank you very much, Billy. Yes, let's go to Ross Vernon, who's seen the first goal of the afternoon at Molineux. It fell for the Ipswich. Tell us more.
Yes, it's fantastic play down the right-hand side by Liam Dillard. He's ball in, picked up by Amari Hutchinson. Shot is blocked. It comes out to Connor Chaplin, who has a fantastic effort towards goal. Renner and Totti tried to clear it between them, and it comes back off Matt Doherty and beyond his own goalkeeper, Sam Johnston, into the back of the net. It's fantastic play by Dillard, and he should to get beyond the last line of the Wolves defence on the Ipswich right, Wolves left, puts the ball in, comes to Hutchinson, his shot is blocked, comes back out. Chaplin's on hand, shot, takes the deflection off. Doherty into back of the net. Wolves 0, Ipswich 1. Ipswich will the better side so far.
I can tell you it's actually been a very long VAR review on that sending off for Liverpool, which is Andrew Robertson already 1-0 down. So while we wait for the result of that VAR, let's go to Germany. It's half-time in the game between Mainz and Bayern Munich. Richard Freckelton is not the scoreline that Bayern Munich wanted to hear, especially when Leverkusen are leading at half-time by 2-0.
Yes, John, it's Mainz 1, Bayern Munich 0. What a turn-up for the books this is. The start of the game, Bayern Munich were like a house on fire. They were peppering shots towards Zentner in the Mainz goal, but they couldn't blow the house down and get past him at all. And then, just before half-time, Lee benefited from a deflected cross that came to him inside the box, and he made no mistake in putting it away to shock everyone to go 1-0 up. But there's a lot of time still left in this game with the second half to come, and they've got so much talent, Bayern Munich. Musiala, Elise, Sane, to name a few, as well as Muller up front. But at half-time, it's Mainz 1, Bayern Munich 0.
Let's go back to Billy Andrews. Billy, it seems like the red card stands.
Red card stands. Andrew Robertson off after 17 minutes. It was close. It was a lengthy VAR pause. It was Virgil van Dijk, the captain, who was the furthest man back, just playing Harry Wilson on. It was a poor touch from Robertson that allowed Wilson in. Took a touch, Wilson, and Robertson's tackle was so late. Whether he could have left it up to his goalkeeper, but Fulham now have a free kick in a dangerous position. They're a goal up and a man up. 1-0 to the away side. Liverpool down to 10.
Thank you very much, Billy. Let's go back to the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. You have to give credit, and absolute credit, don't you, for Mikel Arteta, because his set pieces, they're second to none, aren't they, in the Premier League?
Oh, absolutely. You see those 5 or 6 players that gather on the back, on the edge of the 6-yard box on the far post, and all just make their way into the 6-yard box. They overwhelm the goalkeeper, they overwhelm the defence, and often Gabriel gets his head on it and puts the ball in the net. It's an incredibly simple yet ingenious setup. During the week, Monaco tried to counter that by leading 3 men forward. Everton haven't done that today, but they are defending the corners that they have dealt with quite well.
Thank you very much, Paul. Let's just give you the half-time scorelines. We've already heard from, in the Bundesliga, we've already heard from Richard Freckelton. Bayern Munich are losing to Mainz by 1-0. It's half-time, Augsburg 0, Bayer Leverkusen 2, Borussia Mönchengladbach 3, Holstein Kiel 1, and Union Berlin 1. Bochum 1 later on this afternoon, which is after our show. There's a game between St. Pauli and Werder Bremen, and also in the Premier League later on, after the show as well, is Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa. That's going to be a really remarkable game. We'll give you the team news as soon as we get them. But first, let's go to Kane Weeds. We haven't heard from Kane Weeds for a while. Another chance for Newcastle. I mean, we were expecting probably a Newcastle dominant, don't we? But we're probably expecting an early goal, which probably explains why Newcastle at the moment they're 11th place, because they play beautiful football, don't they? But they're sort of consistent, shall we say.
Yeah, this really sums up Newcastle's season so far. They've had 3, 4, 5 big opportunities to take the lead against a side that's just came up in Leicester City, and they have not punished them. And ultimately, that's what's putting the pressure on Eddie Howe this year, with owners who are looking for European football, and they're not even in the top half of the table at the minute. But Leicester City's defence can't get near Alexander Isak. He's just jinked through the defence with a really good promising run, and he just played the ball to Jacob Murphy on the right, who just cut inside, took a shot, but it was deflected out for a corner. And then that corner again whipped in. Dan Burn looking to get up for it, but Vestergaard does well just to get in front of him and just clear it. But opportunities are building and building for Newcastle, but the story of the season so far is not taking them. So can Leicester City punish them? 22 minutes played, still Newcastle 0, Leicester 0.
24 minutes gone, it's still Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. If you missed it, while Fulham already 1-0 up away to Liverpool, and Liverpool playing with 10 men. Billy Andrews, there's only 1 shot for Liverpool so far. 3 shots for Fulham, 1 on target, and that was the goal. I mean, Fulham probably, regardless of leading at Anfield, they always need to be careful, because Liverpool are, in the end of the day, are Liverpool.
Yeah, they're still Liverpool. They're top of the table for a reason. They're still dangerous when they go forward. But Arne Slot's sort of shifted things around a minute. He's moved Joe Gomez out to left back to deal with Harry Wilson. He's brought Ryan Gravenberch back into defence alongside Virgil van Dijk. And now Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai playing in the midfield, two behind Gakpo, Salah and Luis Diaz. But Gakpo is dropping into midfield when they don't have the ball to defend. But the free kick that came from that foul was just over from Harry Wilson, former Liverpool boy, of course, coming up through their youth system. But they've got to be careful. They're on top at the moment, but Liverpool just having a sustained spell of possession. 24 minutes gone. Liverpool 0. Fulham.
I mean, Billy, Fulham, as it stands, they're fifth in the league, 1 point behind Manchester City, of course, with a game less. Is it time for Fulham fans to start thinking of European football, or it's just maybe things might change in the Christmas? Because Marcus Silva is doing a good job, isn't he, at Fulham, regardless of today's result?
Regardless of what happens today, he's done a fantastic job with this Fulham team. It's not, to use a coin of phrase, it's not your grandmother's Fulham team. It's not the Fulham team that used to turn up and be a yo-yo team for the past few years. Maybe think about European Conference League perhaps, but he's definitely up there in the conversation for one of the managers of the season so far. There's a lot of football left to be played in this season, of course, but he's done a fantastic job with this Fulham team. They've got some fantastic players as well. And of course, later on in the game, if it does get a bit tight and a bit tasty, they've got Adama Traore to bring off the bench, and that's not a nice prospect for any fullback.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much, Billy. Just give you a recap of the Premier League. As you just heard from Billy Andrews, is Liverpool 0, Fulham 1, Wolves 0, Ipswich Town 1, Arsenal 0, Everton 0, and still Newcastle 0, Leicester City 0. I can tell you in Serie A, 69 minutes gone, and it's Cagliari 0, Atalanta 1, and it's a game is just to maintain their top of the league, and it's called by Zanillo for Atalanta. With that win, will put them 5 points ahead of Napoli, who are in second place. I can tell you there's a VAR incident at Newcastle at the moment. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll go to Kane Weir's very, very shortly. But first, let's go to Ross Vernon, who's seen one of the early chances for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yes, John, fantastic bit of play. Mario Lemina plays a brilliant ball through from Nelson Smith, who was named captain earlier this week by manager Gary O'Neill, and he had all the goal to aim at. But what he could do, John, was fire it over the top of the crossbar. Wolves nil, Ipswich wait for the win today, with their first win over Wolves and Molineux since December 2012. What a long time ago that was. Took issue with himself today. It was Wolves nil, Ipswich 1.
Thank you very much, Ross. I apologise for the technical issues. We're trying to sort out with our producer, Pat French, who's running this show for us today. I can tell you, 62 minutes gone in the MPFL, and it's still Lobby Stars 1, Plateau United 0. In the Scottish Premier League, 26 minutes gone, it's Hibernian 0, Ross County 1, Motherwell 1, Dundee United 1, and St Johnstone 0, St Mirren 1. In La Liga, 11 minutes gone, Mallorca 0, Girona 1. Girona, who lost at home in midweek to Liverpool, they're leading by a goal to 0, and their counterparts Liverpool are losing by a goal to 0. But more or less, Liverpool has sort of cemented their place in the next stage of the Champions League. Let's go to Kane Weirs, because I did say there was a VAR of some sort, and Kane, give us a more clear picture on that.
Yeah, so it was a ball in to Joel Linton, and Joel Linton's opened up on the left-hand side and just looked to just smash a shot towards Hermansen at the goal. And Hamza Chowdhury, who's well known to Newcastle fans, threw himself in front of the ball. It went it's hit his hand, his arm, but ultimately, because of the speed of the shot and where his arms are, there was really nothing that he could have done about it. And the referee, after checking it, is allowed play on there. But a real big opportunity again for Newcastle. Maybe a little shift to the right-hand side might have gave Joelinton a bit more space. But Anthony Gordon, Isak, players like that are still getting on the ball, and Leicester are really struggling to deal with it at the minute. But 29 minutes played, still Newcastle 0, Leicester 0.
Thank you very much, Kane. So here we go. There was a VAR of some sort. I wasn't just quite sure what it was, and it managed to be cleared out by Kane Wears. And that's if we come back from Kane. There's a goal, St James! Newcastle United 1, Leicester City 0. We'll be going back to Kane Wears again. I can guarantee you very, very surely on the news of that goal. So we've got goals in 3 games of the 4 that we'll keep an eye on in the Premier League. Liverpool 0, Fulham 1, Newcastle 1, Leicester City 0, Wolves 0, Ipswich 1. The only game that we haven't got goals at is the ones in the Emirates. But let's go to Paul James, who can tell us about another chance for the Arm side.
Yes, it was a brilliant move. Bukayo Saka beat 2 players in the penalty area, pulled back to Martin Odegaard, 7 yards out, struck the shot. It was deflected over the crossbar by Mikalenko, and from the resulting corner, Jordan Pickford was swatting at it like someone swatting at a fly, but the ball was bouncing around in the penalty area, but Arsenal unable to convert it. Arsenal's few chances in this first half have genuinely come from the build-up of Bukayo Saka. Everton haven't produced a great deal so far, apart from the early chance for Doucouré. Half an hour gone, it's Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
I can tell you the Newcastle goal has come through Jacob Murphy in the 30th minute. So we'll be going to Kane Wears very shortly on the news of that goal. I can tell you a few goals has been coming in also in the Championship. It's now Oxford United 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sheffield United 1, Plymouth 0, Stoke 1, Cardiff 0, and it's already Swansea City 2, Sunderland 1. Let's go back to Kane Wears. We just left you, Kane. We were talking about Newcastle, but Jacob Murphy, he had to do his job, didn't he?
Yeah, after missing a huge opportunity moments ago, Murphy shows great composure to fire his side into a deserved lead. It's Anthony Gordon who gets the assist with an inviting little cutback from the byline in a well-worked corner. Starts with Lewis Hall, a little bit of combination play with Gordon, with Tonali. Leicester don't get out quick enough, and by the time they do, they leave loads of space on the edge of the box for Jacob Murphy, and the ball's just played into him, and so composed, fired it past Hermansen in the goal. 30 minutes played, Newcastle 1, Leicester 0.
I can tell you that Newcastle at the moment, they jump on the 11th with 23 points. If it stays as it is, they overtake Tottenham at 12th, who are 20 points, and Manchester United on 13th, who are 19 points. Of course, Manchester United are in the Manchester Derby, Al Ittihad, and Tottenham will be playing Southampton away tomorrow evening. And please, no Tottenham predictions. I can tell you that. I'm not taking any. So here we go. Let's go back to Billy Andrews. Chance for Fulham, Billy.
Yeah, huge chance for Fulham. It was a lovely work down that left-hand side. Liverpool are at 6s and 7s at the back. It looks like a back 3 when they're defending, actually, not a back 4. So first time we've seen that from Arne Slot's Liverpool side this season. But lovely ball from Robinson into Andreas Pereira. The Brazilians just flicked it towards Harry Wilson. Run onto it, side foot. But there was Virgil van Dijk to block the shot, and Alex Iwobi couldn't get on the rebound. But they are not letting Liverpool have 2, 3, 4 seconds on the ball. Kenny Tete's just had a tussle with Joe Gomez. I think both are going to get a talking to from the referee. Very physical game this. Half an hour gone. Still 1-0 to the away side.
Thank you very much, Billy. So just to recap, 34 minutes gone in all the Premier League games. It's still Arsenal 0, Everton 0, Liverpool 0, Fulham 1, and Liverpool playing with 10 men. Newcastle United 1, Leicester City 0, and Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Ipswich Town 1. Let's go to Russ Vernon. And 34 minutes gone, Russ. A great goal for Ipswich to try and to help them to get out of that relegation zone. I mean, they wouldn't, regardless of if they win today. Nevertheless, they need to maintain an away and get another away team. They've already beat at Tottenham, so why couldn't they beat at Wolves?
They're playing well so far, John. They're looking the more dangerous side. They're looking the more likely side to win here. Wolves are trying to force openings, but they're putting everybody behind the play to make sure they can't get that opening, to get that equalising goal in Wolves. Ipswich are playing really good football at the moment, keeping Wolves at arm's bay, and still Wolves 0, Ipswich 1.
Thank you very much, Ross. We're trying to fix that issue with Ross Vernon very, very shortly, and we'll get back to him as soon as possible. Let's go to Paul James. 35 minutes gone, Paul. Still Arsenal 0, Everton 0. It's days like this, Paul, when Arsenal need to win. Liverpool are losing. They need to win this because they have to grab that chance, don't they? But at the moment, it's still 0-0.
No, yes, that's correct. And to be honest with you, after the draw with Fulham, Arsenal desperately need to win. But to be honest with you, they're not playing like they're in a position where they need to win. There's a lack of urgency from this Arsenal team. Everton are defending very, very well and doing what they need to do. They're obviously coming here looking for a better performance from them themselves. We're seeing Sean Dyche in the way that he usually plays, a solid defence, locking up the midfield and making it very difficult for Arsenal so far. But with 35 minutes gone, there's still a lot of football to be played in this game. It's still Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
Thank you very much, Paul. I can tell you early on today, Maniano of Democratic Republic of Congo drew with FAR Rabat of Morocco in the CAF Champions League, the African Champions League 1-0. And Mazembe, who also from the Democratic Republic of Congo, they drew with Young Africans of Tanzania, a goal each. Later on today in the same competition, Stade d'Abidjan of the Ivory Coast will play Orlando Pirates of South Africa, and the Tunisian team Esperance Tunis will play Pyramids of Egypt, and MC Alger of Algeria will play Al Hilal Omdurman of Sudan. The second half has just kicked off. In fact, about 2-3 minutes gone in the game between Mainz and Bayern Munich. It's Mainz 1, Bayern Munich 0. Any team changes at half-time, Richard? We can't seem to hear Richard Freckerton at the moment. We'll be going back to Richard very, very shortly. Let's go back to Billy Andrews. Let's see how Liverpool are coping at the moment. 8 minutes to go till half-time, Billy. Still Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. I mean, this is a time when Arne Slot will get paid a lot of money because that's his job, trying to get them out of the gutter, more or less.
Yeah, this is why he gets paid the big money from Liverpool, to try and get his team out of difficult situations. In a word, rushing. They're trying to force it at the moment with 8 minutes to go plus injury time. There will be a lot of injury time for that VAR check. But Trent's corner just a minute ago was horrendous. It missed everybody. Salah's pass back to Luis Diaz was behind him. The midfield can't keep hold of the ball. There's another high boot there from Cody Gakpo. The Anfield crowd, the Kop in particular, really not happy with this referee. They feel aggrieved by that red card and some of the fouls that he's waved away by some of the Fulham players. Kenny Tete and Joe Gomez just got talking to for their scuffle, and they're coming together. But Fulham at the moment are in control. They're giving Liverpool time on the ball because they know at the moment they're not going to create anything. It's a dangerous game to play because, as we know, Liverpool can create something out of nothing, particularly the likes of Mo Salah. So they're going to need a second goal to make this more comfortable. But there's another misplaced pass, this time from Dominic Szoboszlai. So 37 minutes gone. There will be a huge chunk of added time. Still 1-0 to the away.
Thank you very much, Billy Andrews. Told you there's a game happening in La Liga, the game between Mallorca and Girona. It was Danny van der Beek, the ex-Man United man, scoring in the 7th minute for Girona, and Larin has just equalised for Mallorca. Now, in the actual standing in for both teams, that is Mallorca and Girona, Mallorca are 7th as it stands with 25 points, so a win for them will take them into 5th. And Girona, who are 9th with 23 points, and if they manage to grab a win, they will take them to 7th above Mallorca. So it's a big game for both teams at the moment. Nevertheless, it's still 1-0 after 23 minutes. It just also kicked off in the Portuguese Liga. It's Farense against Gil Vicente, still 0-0. In the MPFL, it's still 1-0 to Lobby Stars. We've still got quarter of an hour to go in that game. And likewise, Atalanta, 7 minutes to go till the end. And still Cagliari 0, Atalanta 1. In the German Bundesliga, it's still Augsburg 0, Bayer Leverkusen 2, Borussia Mönchengladbach 3, Holstein Kiel 1. Still 1-0 to Mainz against Bayern Munich. We'll be going to Richard Freckerton very, very shortly. And Union Berlin 1, Bochum 1. In fact, let's go to Richard Freckerton now. Richard, if you can hear us better now, can tell us if there's been any team changes at half-time for Bayern Munich?
No team changes so far, John. It remains Mainz 1, Bayern Munich 0. And the Vincent Company will not be happy with the performance so far, considering the wealth of talent they've got. With the second half as it's gone so far, they haven't tested Zentner in the Mainz goal at all, and the better of the two teams so far, I have to say, is Mainz. But it's very early in the second half. It remains Mainz 1, Bayern Munich 0.
Richard, we ask anyone who's on the Bayern Munich game every single week, is this the year that for Kane, Harry Kane? Yes or no?
Yes, I would say, John, even though he's missing today through injury, but they look a fantastic side so far this season, and their form going into this game was superb. In 6 games, they won 5, so they still got plenty of time in this game to keep that good winning run going.
Thank you very much, Richard. We always like to throw that $1 million question, which... yeah, anyway, we'll leave it as that, shall we? Let's go back to Billy Andrews, who's watching Liverpool. We're playing with 10 men. 3 minutes to go plus stoppage time, Billy. Has there been any improvement? 10 men, a man down and a goal down.
Well, just as you come to me, Luis Diaz has put the ball over the bar from 6 yards out. It was a ball whipped in by Curtis Jones. It came off the back of Issa Diop and then hit Luis Diaz in the head and went over the bar. So not one that he really knew about. It was a lovely ball in from Dominic Soboslai. They had a free kick on the right-hand side, Liverpool, that was whipped in by Trent, headed on by Cody Gakpo, but only into the arms of Bernardino, making his 90th consecutive start in the Premier League for Fulham this afternoon. Bit of a warning for Fulham. Liverpool won 36 points from losing positions since the start of last season. Only Manchester City have won more, so they're well versed in coming back from losing positions. 4 minutes to go plus stoppage time. 1-0 to the away side at Anfield.
Likewise, the home side, Wolverhampton Wanderers, are losing to Ipswich by a goal to 0. 3 minutes to go again, Ross Vernon. Has there been any improvement from the home side?
Not at the moment, John. Wolves had a chance a few moments ago with Semedo, which went over the bar, but other than that, Wolves have not really threatened the goal so far in terms of ball-mouth action. I know stand at the moment with an injury. There's a stoppage in play. With Wolves 0, Ipswich 1 and Molineux.
Thank you very much, Ross. I can tell you in the Scottish Premiership has just been Motherwell have just extended their lead even more so against Dundee United. They're leading by 3 goals to 1. It's not even half time yet. Hibernian losing at home to Ross County by a goal to 0, and likewise St Johnstone at home to St Mirren with the same scoreline. Coming to half time in the Championship, it's Blackburn Rovers 2 now against Luton, who haven't scored yet. Middlesbrough leading Millwall by a goal to 0. 1-1 between Oxford United and Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United still leading Plymouth by a goal to 0. Stoke City 1, Cardiff 1, and Swansea are leading Sunderland by 2 goals to 1. Let's go to Kane Wears, who's watching Newcastle against Leicester City. Kane, chance after chance after chance, but when you get so many chances, you don't want that to hit you back, don't you, eventually?
Yeah, you can see Leicester still winning this game 2-1, the way that Newcastle just can't take their chances. And Anthony Gordon's just pressed Connor Cody in his own box. I don't know how much time Connor Cody thought he'd had, but he's just went to kick the ball and he's absolutely smashed it off Gordon. It's nearly looped over the goalkeeper, Hermansen. Fortunately, he caught it and made the save there. And again, just a moment before, and a potential penalty for Newcastle. And it's Bruno Guimaraes just drives into the box towards Vestergaard. And Vestergaard's been a calamity in the Premier League for a number of years, like when he was at Southampton previously. And he's just left a leg lie. And Bruno's went over it. The referees deemed it to be that he was looking for it, and he's gave it the other way. And a very, very fortunate opportunity there for Vestergaard, but Leicester look all over the place at the back, but they're still not out of it. 43 minutes played, still Newcastle 1, Leicester 0.
Still 54 minutes gone in the game between Augsburg and Bayer Leverkusen, and Leverkusen still leading by 2-0. The goals did come from Terrier and the one and only Wirtz. What a fantastic player, absolutely fantastic player for his club and country. Will he be a Bayer Leverkusen next season? Well, if Javi Alonso goes and replaces Carlo Ancelotti, as rumours been going around in Madrid, he might take him with him in the summer. Who knows? Who knows what might happen? Right, let's go to Paul James. Paul, we are into injury time at your game. Only 1 minute of injury time. And Mikel Arteta needs to find a goal, because today is the day when Liverpool are losing. He needs to get a goal and the 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definition of really why Arsenal need a number 9 right now. You come to me just as a chance, an opportunity for Gabriel Martinelli. The ball was played through by Kai Havertz to Martinelli. It was at a tight angle, but he forced an excellent save out of Jordan Pickford. But we are in stoppage time at the end of this first half. We are nearly done here. It is Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
I can tell you 6 minutes of injury time in the game between Liverpool and Fulham. 2 minutes of injury time in the game between Newcastle and Leicester. And 3 minutes of injury time in the game between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Ipswich. So as it stands, I'll tell you, it's half-time in the game between Arsenal and Everton. It's 0-0. Liverpool still losing by 1-0. That's still carrying on with, like I said, 6 minutes of injury time. So we're going to Paul James very shortly for a half-time report. Newcastle still leading Leicester City by 1-0. And Ipswich leading away by 1-0 at Molineux. Augsburg are still losing to Leverkusen by 2-0, and Bayern Munich are still losing away to Mainz by 1-0. I can tell you, Mainz had 4 shots, 2 on target, 5 shots for Bayern Munich, and yet not a single one on target. Let's go to Richard Freckerton. Richard, it's not really good enough, isn't it, when you have 5 shots, 55 minutes gone, away to Mainz, who are, with all due respect, not the best of teams, and yet not a single shot on target.
That's right, John. It remains Mainz 1, Bayern Munich 0. And when you look at the wealth of talent that Bayern Munich have, it is very surprising that they're performing this way. As I said, they started like a house on fire in the beginning, and at least they hit the post inside the box. But since then, Mainz have done very, very well. And there was a bit of fortune with the goal they scored. But you would expect Bayern to come back strong. Because as you know, if they win, then they keep up that lead that they have at the
Thank you very much, Richard Freckerton. Yes, Mainz 1, Bayern Munich 0, half an hour to go. Let's go to Paul James. Half time in the Emirates, 0-0. It's not good enough, isn't it, really, Paul?
No, it's a poor performance by Arsenal, really, at half-time. 0-0 at the Emirates at half-time. And they did have a few chances. Martin Odegaard had a couple of chances presented to him. Kai Havertz had a header just over the crossbar. Martinelli forced a good save out of Jordan Pickford. But the chances that they did create were not effectively put away, highlighting the need for a number 9. Everton's chances really fell in the first minute with Abdoulaye Doucouré getting his opportunity. But really since then, Everton haven't created much, and have been more comfortable stopping Arsenal's creative routine. But at half-time here, Sean Dyche will be delighted. It's Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
Sean Dyche will be delighted. Bayern Munich fans, you want! 60 minutes gone. It's Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 0. It's going from bad to worse for Bayern Munich. We'll be going to Richard Fackerton for the news of that second goal. And, they still stay top of the Bundesliga, but it's still not good enough. Richard Fackerton, you've seen the goal. You've seen the performance from Bayern Munich. Surely it's the time when they have to bring on the subs and do something about it, don't they?
Absolutely. Company will be furious. It's Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 0. And the cross came in from the right, and there was Lee, who scored the first goal to get the second goal. And Company has put on 2 substitutes, to try and change things. But is it too late with a 2-0 lead? There's still plenty of time on the clock, or 60 minutes gone. It's Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 0.
Thank you very much, Richard Ferguson. And a reminder that it's still Augsburg 0, Bayer Leverkusen 2, and the big game tomorrow between Eintracht Frankfurt and Leipzig. And they're both looking for 3 points to close the gap on Bayern Munich if Bayern Munich can't get at least 3 goals today. I'll tell you, one team who leading at half-time is Newcastle against Leicester. And our main man, Kane Wears, have seen the first half.
Yeah, Newcastle in the lead, well and truly on top at half-time here at St James's Park. Newcastle had a number of opportunities to take the lead in the first half, and after 10 shots, the 11th went in on the 30th minute of Jacob Murphy with a well-worked corner routine that came to the edge of the box, and Jacob Murphy calmly slotted the ball in past Hermansen in the Leicester City goal. Leicester City have failed to lay a glove on Newcastle, but may find some hope in the final moments of the first half, where they try to spring some counter-attacks on the Newcastle side. But if Leicester City want to pick something up today, they need to be better in the second half. But half-time at St James's Park, Newcastle United 1, Leicester City 0.
Thank you very much, Kane. I can tell you, it's still going on in the game between Liverpool and Fulham. In fact, half-time is just got in. It's Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. We'll be going to Billy Andrews very, very shortly. But first, let's go to Russ Vernon, apologies, who've seen Ipswich Town taking the lead away to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yes, it's Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Ipswich Town 1 at the break. Ipswich do deserve this lead as well, John. Brilliant bit of run by the lap down the right-hand side, low ball in, Hutchinson with a shot blocked, comes out to Chaplin, his shot takes reflection off Doherty, and one for Johnston in the back of the net. Go behind, that was on 15 minutes. Both have had chances but not on target. Smeda with their best one, but over the top of the crossbar. And if Ipswich were to win here today, it would be their first win at Molineux since December 2012. 29th of December 2012 it was a 2-0 win for Ipswich that day, but Ipswich repeating things again today. So far so good. Wolves 0, Ipswich 1.
Thank you very much, Ross. Our fourth and final game that we keep an eye on in the Premier League is Liverpool against Fulham. Half-time report from Billy Andrews. Billy, this is not it's not what we were expecting before it started, do we?
No, it's not what we were expecting before we started, but at half-time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. It got off to a frantic first 15, 20 minutes, and it only took 11 minutes for Fulham to take the lead. It was a fantastic ball from Harry Wilson out to Alex Iwobi. A lovely turn around the corner to the fullback Anthony Robinson, and a wonderfully whipped cross with his left foot to the back post to Andreas Pereira. Swung a boot at it, and upon looking at the replay, it actually comes off the back of Andy Robertson and loops over Alisson, but it will be Pereira's goal. 6 minutes later, it went from bad to worse for Andy Robertson. A long ball forward towards Harry Wilson. A poor touch from Robertson, let the Welshman in, and he took him out. 6 minutes it took for the VAR to decide whether he was onside or not, but Van Dijk just played him on, given his marching orders after 17 minutes. Liverpool never really got going in this first half after that red card. Disjointed, they've rushed in, they've tried to force it. There's enough quality in this team to do it. They've won 36 points from losing position since the start of last season. But Fulham had the better of the chances and could have doubled their lead through a couple of chances through Harry Wilson, but good blocks from Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk stopped those going towards goal. At half-time, it's Liverpool 0, Fulham 1.
So the half-time scorelines in the English Premier League so far, you just heard from Billy Anderson. Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. Just to remind you, Liverpool playing with 10 men after the sending off of Andy Robertson. That was a straight red for the Scotsman. It's 0-0 between Arsenal and Everton. Newcastle 1, Leicester City 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Ipswich 1. In the Bundesliga, 63 minutes gone. It's Augsburg 0, Bayer Leverkusen 2, Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 0. The other games in the Bundesliga is still Borussia Mönchengladbach 3, Holstein Kiel 1, Union Berlin 1, Bochum 1. And I can tell you, it finished in Cagliari. It's Cagliari 0, Atalanta 1. So they maintain 5 points above second place Napoli, who are playing later on this evening at 6 o'clock away to Udinese. So a must-win game for Napoli to try to catch up with the league leaders Atalanta. Right, we're going to take a 5 minutes break. We're back at 5 o'clock Nigerian time, ready to start for the second halves, so don't go away.
You are listening live to Football Live. Why not find out some more about Football Live? Visit our website www.footballliveshow.uk.
Don't forget there are 3 L's in Football Live.
Meet the people behind Football Live and find out more about the show. You can follow Football Live on X at FootBLiveShow. That's FootBLiveShow. You are listening live to Football Live.
Around the grounds, chasing down the goals.
And you could not have scripted this.
What an absolute beauty. VAR, you are a disgrace.
And he's got the goal.
My goodness me, what a strike.
What a finish. You are tuned in to Football Live.
Okay, guys, welcome to the weekly Football Live production meeting. I've got a great idea. We go out and we ask all the top football managers what they think of the show. Let's do this.
Jurgen Klopp, are you a fan of Football Live?
It's super. It's just super. It's really a top.
Mikel Arteta, how good is Football Live?
I've been really impressed.
Pep, Football Live love you, but do you love Football Live?
They are unique and I enjoy a lot.
Sean Dyche, do you listen to Football Live, the greatest football show on earth?
What you're talking about now? They know and I know, and you probably do know, they've made a lot of mistakes along the way.
Okay, so we need to work on Sean Dyche.
It's an absolute cracker.
Fantastic.
Incredible, amazing, unbelievable.
Sensational.
Fantastic.
This is amazing on Football Live.
You can interact on today's show on X at FootBLiveShow. That's FootBLiveShow. That's FootBLiveShow on X. We'd love to hear from you.
It's time to get straight into the action.
When you hear that noise, you know there's been a goal.
With the best reporters in the business.
What an afternoon of football. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've got even more coming up for you.
With the best unrivaled football coverage on the air.
Football Live really is the place to be this afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. And a warm welcome to the biggest and best football show on the radio.
If you've only just joined us, where on earth have you been?
The goals are absolutely flying in.
And you could not have scripted this.
Well, I said the wheels were falling off. Wheels, the doors, the steering wheel, it's all come off.
What an absolute beauty.
That's okay, I've been called a lot worse.
Well, what about that?
It's just gorgeous, gorgeous football.
Describe to me what's just happened.
Kulusevski, it's a fantastic header.
What a goal.
Nobody has the answers.
It just had to be him.
And a fairy tale return for Ivan Toney. This is amazing on Football Live.
That's why we love Football Live, because it has been a pulsating afternoon on Football Live.
Absolutely sensational.
Visit the official Football Live website and find out more about the show and the people behind Football Live. Visit www.footballliveshow.uk and follow us on X at FootBLiveShow. Live and exclusive to Brila FM. You are tuned in to Football Live.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Banging form into dreamland.
Oh my God, they were crying.
What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate, he's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant.
That's proper.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live.
So we've got so much coming up on Football Live. We're covering everything in England, in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, in Saudi Arabia, in Nigeria. You name it, we've got it covered here on Football Live.
Our fantastic team of reporters will be bringing you all the goals as they go in the biggest games across the footballing world.
We love a bit of drama here on Football Live, and we've plenty of it this afternoon.
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
You are listening to Football Live.
Join trying to corner where the big boys play.
Let's get back to the big match action.
You are listening live to Football Live.
Here is your host, John Kane.
Yes, welcome back, and thank you very much, Victor, for the half-time interval. I can tell you that the half-time scorelines in the Premier League, none of them has kicked off yet. It's still Arsenal 0, Everton 0, Liverpool 0, Fulham 1, Newcastle 1, Leicester City 0, and Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Ipswich Town 1. In the Bundesliga, 20 minutes to go, is Augsburg 0, Bayer Leverkusen 2, and Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 0. A shock of the game so far at the moment that we have here on Brila FM and Football Live. And Richard Freckerton, has there been any changes for Bayern Munich?
Yes, Vincent Kompany has made the changes. It still remains Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 0. He's taken off Eric Dyer, the defender, and he's brought on a forward in Pell. But what I would say that the misses of not having Harry Kane and Gnabry in the team is quite clear to see. Muller has not had a chance all game, and Sani and Musiala so far have not really turned up today as well as they can play. But with 73 minutes on the clock, it's Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 0.
Thank you very much, Richard. We'll keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in the Premier League, Bundesliga, and everywhere else around the world. I can tell you they're still playing in Nigeria between Lobby Stars and Plateau United. Still 1-0 to Lobby Stars, so we'll give you the final scoreline as it happens. They are playing deep into stoppage time. Let's speak to Billy Andrews, who's still watching Liverpool Fulham. Hasn't kicked off yet, so have a quick chat with him regarding the big game tomorrow between Manchester City and Manchester United. Billy, we always talk about that game, don't we? And it's a big game in the English calendar, in the Premier League calendar, in the world calendar, in fact. No matter how big it is, Man United, regardless of who they have as manager, is always going to be a big game. But I mean, Amarone already faced Guardiola already this season, isn't he, in the Champions League when being manager for Sporting Lisbon. He knows how Manchester City are playing. He knows how Manchester City are struggling. Yet it's not a game that you can actually guess which way it's going to go, isn't it?
No, I think you'd be a fool to try and guess which way this game's going to go, because City have lost, and they've won one game in the last 10, and Man United are 13th in the Premier League. You know, we saw the goals that Andre Onana gave away against Nottingham Forest, the goal he gave away against Victoria Pilsen in the midweek game. So it could be 0-0 for all we know. It could be 6-0. But there is no better time to play Man City for Man United, because things aren't clicking, things aren't working. They're missing players that performed last season spectacularly. Noticeably, Phil Foden hasn't even scored a goal Jack Grealish hasn't scored a Premier League goal since October last year. So there's all these things happening for City. It's almost like a perfect storm for United to go in and play. But to say that Amorim's already beaten City with his Sporting side, that was a well-drilled Sporting team that hadn't lost at all season. This is a United team that's disjointed, that makes silly mistakes, that despite his 2 goals on Thursday night, you would say doesn't have a proper top-class striker as of yet. The potential's definitely there, and you always, Kevin De Bruyne is back playing. Erling Haaland is always, worth betting on to score a goal.
We'll talk about...
It's
go on,
incredibly hard to call.
I was going to say, we'll talk about Manchester United later on in the game. But before I come back to you, there's been a second goal at St. James Park. And I can tell you, Kane will be happy because it's Newcastle 2, Leicester City 0. They scored in the second minute of the second half. Before we go to Kane let's quickly go to Paul James. Paul, any changes in your game?
No changes whatsoever, but an early chance for Arsenal. Crossed in by Odegaard. It bounced off the head of James Tarkowski and caught sweetly on the volley by Bukayo Saka, forcing a super save by Jordan Pickford down his near post. From the resulting corner, the header, Gabriel, not surprisingly on the end of it, but it was comfortable for Pickford. 2 minutes gone in the second half. Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
I can tell you the goals being scored by Newcastle is through the captain, Bruno Guimaraes. He scored in the second minute of the second half. So we'll be going to Kane very, very shortly. I just want to go back quickly to Billy Andrews. Just quickly, Billy, as far as Manchester City tomorrow is concerned, we'll speak about Manchester United in a minute, but as far as Manchester City is concerned, it's not really been the best of times, but Pep Guardiola is going through the worst time of his career as manager, and probably likewise with Man City in general terms since the takeover of the money or the Arab Gulf money. But he's never going to be a manager under threat, isn't he?
No, what he's done with that City team, what he's done with City in general is fantastic. He's built a dynasty himself. He's been there almost 10 years now, signed for another 2. And look, he's doubled down and said he can't see himself managing another club team after he leaves Manchester City. When that is, he could go on for another 2, 3, 4 years, for all we know. So he's built something special. He's done something fantastic. You can use the 115 charges excuse at the moment, but what they've done and how they've played has been unmatched for seasons upon seasons, and it was always going to come to an end, but I don't think anyone expected it to be this quickly or in this spectacular of a fashion.
Thank you very much, Billy Anderson. Billy will be going back to you very, very shortly. I can tell you it's been a third goal for Newcastle United. It's Newcastle United 3, Leicester City 0. What a start in the second half for the home side. And I can tell you, Newcastle are, I'm glad they have scored 2 goals because in the end of the day, the chances that Kane was talking about earlier, they needed the second, and in fact, they just got the third. We'll tell you who scored the third goal very, very shortly. But first, let's go to Ross Vernon. The second half was kicked off in the game between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Ipswich. Has there been any substitutions in the game?
No substitutions at half-time, John. Wolves are starting on the front foot in the start of the second half, trying to get that equalising goal, but so far Ipswich is locked out and at arm's length. It's still Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Ipswich Town 1. As Wolves have just won a corner at the start of the second half. 2 minutes gone at the second half. Wolves 0, Ipswich 1.
I mean, Newcastle, you can wonder why Alexander Isak is wanted by literally all the big clubs in Europe, why he always gets linked with Arsenal, Liverpool, Real Madrid and a few other teams, is because he is just a remarkable player, and Newcastle definitely missed him when he wasn't playing due to injury for a couple of games or so, I believe so, Kane Wears. But you saw that third goal, you saw the second goal. Tell us more.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff so far by Newcastle in this second half. And Leicester look completely shell-shocked and don't know what's going on. And the second goal comes from the captain, Bruno Guimaraes, who scored 2 goals the last time that Newcastle played Leicester City at St James's Park. And it is so easy for Newcastle, but it's Anthony Gordon dinks a free kick into the box, finds Lewis Hall, who's peeling off unmarked around the back post. The left back heads the ball across the goal, finding Guimaraes, and heads it home. It was checked for offside, but it stands. And then another opportunity. Again, similar on the left-hand side. Anthony Gordon picks the ball up, slides in Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall dinks a ball into the back post. It just deflects off Connor Cody and lands to Alexander Isak, who's there headed home for 7 goals in his last 8 appearances for Newcastle. Massive performance so far by Newcastle, and 3 goals to the good. 49 minutes played, Newcastle 3, Leicester 0.
We only just played 2 minutes in the second half between Liverpool and Fulham. Already got a second goal. It's Liverpool 1, Fulham 1. So it's a much better scoreline from Liverpool, and it's been scored from Cody Gakpo. The Dutch international have equalised for Liverpool. There is a VAR on that goal, but we'll go to Billy Andrews, who've seen the goal. Billy, what's the VAR about?
It will
In fact, it has been given, Billy. Apologies.
Yeah, no worries, John. The brief VAR check for offside from Cody Gakpo after the ball from Mohamed Salah. It's a wonderful cross from the winger, player of the month for last month in the Premier League. A fantastic in-swinging cross to the outside of the 6-yard box, and Cody Gakpo's there with a diving header at the back post, completely unmarked, puts it past Bernd Leno. Diaz occupies this, and Diop takes him completely away from Cody Gakpo. I did say they'd won 36 points from losing positions. It's now up to 37. They've scored 2 goals in each of their last 7 Premier League games. That's 47 minutes gone. It's Liverpool 1, Fulham.
Thank you very much, Billy. Yes, the goal has been given. Liverpool 1, Fulham 1. Newcastle 3, Leicester City 0 after 54 minutes. Kane wears, and another chance for the home side.
Yeah, Newcastle are running riot here. 17 shots for Newcastle so far in the game. And another opportunity for Newcastle. It's Alexander Isak just received the ball from Anthony Gordon. The striker then just feeds in Jacob Murphy on the right-hand side, who gets 1v1 with the goalkeeper, who is now Danny Ward, after making a sub at half-time, and Hermansen going off. And the right winger flashes a shot over the bar when he could easily just place it into the far corner. This could be 5, 6, 7 today, and it looks like the honeymoon period is over for Ruud van Nistelrooy. Right now, it looks like Leicester City could do with Ruud van Nistelrooy, who scored in every single one of his appearances at St James's Park. But 52 minutes played, Newcastle 3, Leicester 0.
Thank you very much, Kane. I can tell you, in the Nigerian NPFL, it finished Lobi Stars 1, Plateau United 0. Where does it leave them in the standing? Well, Lobi Stars stay 15th with 19 points. Plateau United with 18 points, just on goal difference on Sunshine Stars, who are in the relegation zone. However, the league is still led by Remo Stars, who are top. River United are second, but only on goal difference. Let's go to Paul James, who's watching Arsenal against Everton. 56 minutes gone. It's still 0-0, Paul. With all things happening at Liverpool at the moment, getting that goal back, Mikel Arteta needs to find probably plan B or maybe plan C even.
I think it's plan D at this point. At the moment, they're just not able to put together opportunities. Mikel Moreno tried to play through Kai Havertz, who got the ball caught under his feet. A slight opportunity from a poor back pass by Jared Branthwaite to Jordan Pickford, but Kai Havertz was not really awake to that. At the moment, Arsenal struggling to find answers to this brilliant setup by Everton that they've got right now in front of the 18-yard box. It's Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
Liverpool just equalised against Fulham, Billy Andrews, and it was a penalty claim as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you about the penalty claim in a sec, because it actually came from the chance. It's Cody Gakpo again, picks the ball up about 20 yards out on the left-hand side, takes one touch and fires it low into Bernd Leno's gloves. Easy one for the German keeper. And the penalty claim happened just as that shot was being taken, because Joe Gomez is running into the box. Kenny Tete is there trying to block the shot from Cody Gakpo, sticks his leg out. Joe Gomez collides with Kenny Tete. Both go down in a heap on the floor. Kenny Tete is still down, getting some treatment on that knee. Gomez is back up. Of course, both those players are involved in a tussle earlier in the first half. The referee not interested. I don't think VAR are interested in this either. I've not heard anything. Gakpo and Van Dijk were convinced it should have been a penalty, but he's just gone to book it. I don't think it's going to be checked any further by VAR. At Liverpool, they might have 10 men, but since that goal, they've got their tails up. They are on fire at Anfield, 1-1.
Thank you very much, Billy Andrews. We were going to go to Richard Freckerton 4 minutes ago, plus stoppage time in that game that he's watching between Mainz and Bayern Munich. And I can tell you, Bayern Munich have just scored. 3.5 minutes to go, and it's Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 1. Game on for Bayern Munich. Is it going to change, though? We'll soon find out. It's only got 3 minutes to try and score 2 more goals, because Bayer Leverkusen, as it stands, they're leading Augsburg away by 2-0. Borussia Mönchengladbach are leading Holstein Kiel by 4-1, and it's still 1-0 in the game between Union Berlin and Bochum. And Bochum are playing with 10 men. But while we wait for Richard Freckerton, let's go to Russ Vernon, because Russ, Ipswich are still not satisfied with the one. They're really stiffing for a second goal, aren't they?
They are, John. It was a fantastic play down the left-hand side. Amari Hutchinson and Wes Burns have switched flanks now, and Hutchinson played the ball to the back post for Burns, whose shot was saved by Sam Johnston. As Wolves come forward and headed behind for Wolves' corner, Leif Davis getting his head onto that one. A fantastic bit of play from Ipswich. It remains Wolves 0, Ipswich 1. And Molyneux, Wolves have a corner, could be a chance to equalise from here.
I can tell you, in the Bundesliga, Borussia Mönchengladbach have just scored their 5th goal of the day. It's Borussia Mönchengladbach 5, Holstein Kiel 1. It's Leroy Sané who scored for Bayern Munich. Let's go to Richard Freckerton and tell us more about that goal. Richard.
Yes, it's Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 1, and a bit of a fortune for Bayern Munich, but they'll take that, because we've just 3 minutes of the injury time left. Who knows? Can they get an equaliser? It was a very fortunate one where deflection came off perfectly into the path of Sané, and he had a simple task from 5 yards of just slotting it into the back of the net. Game on. It's Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 1.
Thank you very much, Richard. Game on in Mainz. I can tell you it's game over at St James Park. Not even 60 minutes on the clock, and it's Newcastle United 4, Leicester City 0. Eddie Howe really needed a win, and what a win that would be unless we get a miracle from Leicester City. I mean, I'm not watching the game. I don't know what Leicester City playing, but on the stats, Newcastle had 19 shots, 9 on target. Leicester City had 4, 1 on target. But it's just disastrous for Ruud van Nistelrooy. And like Kane Weir said, looks like honeymoon is over for the Dutchman who's in charge of Leicester City. We'll be going to Kane Weir's very shortly on the news of that goal. Let's go to Paul James first. Paul, still 0-0, 61 minutes gone.
Yes.
I mean, what can you say about Mark Arteta? Because at the end of the day, he's at home in a game they expected to win, yet Sean Dyche at the moment, he's on top as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, Arsenal are pressing forward. They're, I'm struggling to find anything that I can call a real chance. Excuse me. Bukayo Saka got into the penalty area a few moments before you arrived. He tried pulling the ball across, but Jordan Pickford was there to get in the way of that. Everton haven't really pressed forward at the moment. They're doing such a good job of shutting Arsenal down. As we hit the hour mark, For the last few minutes before you arrived, Arsenal have been preparing Ethan and Nwaneri to come on. No change made as of yet. Hour gone. Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
I can tell you in the game between Mainz and Bayern Munich just entered injury time. There's going to be 5 minutes of it. But first, let's go to Kane Wears, who's seen the 4th goal from Newcastle. Kane, we know how good Eddie Howe is, but the way with the scoreline at the moment, it feels like Kevin Keegan is back leading Newcastle.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Definitely the entertainers today. But you've got to have a look at Leicester City. This is one of the worst performances I've ever seen. And their back line is an absolute disgrace, to say that the Premier League players at the minute, they're all over the shop. Alexander Isak gets a ball just played in behind with no pressure on Anthony Gordon whatsoever. Alexander Isak then just gets 1v1. And all the defenders just seem to then go around Alexander Isak and forget about Jacob Murphy on the right-hand side. With no pressure again on the ball, Alexander Isak just slides through Jacob Murphy. Vestergaard tries to get across, but just Murphy, as usual, just slides the ball into the far corner. As cool, calm and collected as you like. All over the place. Honeymoon period is open, and Ruud van Nistelrooy will think he'll have some of the Manchester United defenders in his back line today based on performances. 61 minutes played, Newcastle 4, Leicester 0.
We'll be going to Paul Jones very shortly, but from the corner of my eye, it looks like Odegaard and Declan Rice has been taken off after 62 minutes. But we're going to Paul James that very, very short, just to confirm it for me. In fact, let's go now, Paul. I believe his Odegaard is off, and likewise with Declan Rice.
Yes, both have really been poor today, to be honest. Odegaard and Declan Rice are off, and Odegaard has handed the captain's armband to the substitute Jorginho. Ethan and Nwaneri is on as well for Declan Rice, so we're going to see whether that can propel Arsenal into any kind of creativity. At the moment, we're not seeing a great deal of it. This game really needs a goal, really, from either side to spark this game into life. But 63 minutes gone, it's Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
Thank you very much, Paul. I can tell you in Ligue 1, we played 20 minutes in a game between Marseille and Lille, and it's already Marseille 1, Lille 0. Goal from Merlin. Marseille are 32 points as it stands, 2 points behind Paris Saint-Germain. Right, let's go to Billy Andrews. Billy, yellow cards for a player and a manager.
Yeah, still very frantic at Anfield. Curtis Jones, a late tackle on Alex Iwobi, got nowhere near the ball. Straight yellow card, no issues with that. Or you would have thought Arne Slot blew in the face, red in the face with the referee, claiming it should never have been a yellow card. So he's been booked, and that will also be a touchline ban for their next game. Liverpool will be without Arne Slot on the touchline next time out. And Kenny Tete, after taking the full force of Joe Gomez to that left knee, has had to come off and be replaced by Timothy Castagna. Probably glad he's not at Leicester this afternoon. But almost half an hour left to go. 1-1, Liverpool, very much the team in the ascendancy.
Thank you very much, Billy. Let's go to Molineux. Wolves 0, Ipswich 1. Ross Vernon. I mean, I suppose the question for you is going to be, how long has Gary O'Neill left as manager of Wolverhampton Wanderers?
Well, John, I can't give you an answer to that because I'm not 100% sure, but I think if they lose this one, he's probably got to go for me. Wolves have been ported in. Ipswich could have had a second a few moments ago. Brilliant play down the right-hand side again. It was a fantastic ball out wide by Connor Chaplin to Wes Burns. His ball across finds Liam Delap, and you're thinking it's going to be 2-0. It comes off his knee and goes the wrong side of the post. It's Wolves 0, Ipswich 1, 61 minutes on the clock.
Thank you very much, Ross. I can tell you the team news are out for the game later on, the Midland derby between Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa. They occupy 5th and 6th respectively, both on 25 points. A win to either of them will take them to 4th above Manchester City, who we did mention they are playing tomorrow against Manchester United. So what a day that would be for both clubs if they can overtake Manchester City. The lineups for Nottingham Forest is Sells in goal, Aina, Anderson, Dominguez, Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi, Milinkovic, Murillo, Williams, Chris Wood and Ryan Yates. As for Aston Villa, well, Martinez in goal, and you got Cash, Diego Carlos, Dinia, Duran is starting, Camara, Konsa, McGinn, Mings, Rogers, Tillemans. I'm just having a look to see, I believe Ollie Watkins is on the bench. Likewise is Unana, he's been on the bench as well. So interesting lineup. Of course, for the home side, they've got the Nigerian Aina, who's been absolutely tremendous on that right-hand side for Nottingham Forest. And likewise, Awoniyi, he's also on the bench. Likewise with Jota Silva and James Ward-Prowse. Right, Arsenal are still 0-0 at home to Everton. 60 minutes gone, and now it's Sean Dyche's turn to bring on the subs. Paul James.
Yes, he's rolled the dice and he's decided to bring on Jesper Lindstrom and Armando Broja. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jack Harrison have made place. So it's like for like here, meaning to me that Sean Dyche is going to continue to play the way that he is right now. For the time being, it seems to be working for the former Burnley manager. But it's Arsenal 0, Everton 0. There's 22 minutes for a goal to come for either side.
I can tell you, finish at Augsburg in the Bundesliga is Augsburg 0, Bayer Leverkusen 2. Borussia Mönchengladbach had a goal chopped off for offside, so it remains 4-1. And that was the final score. And they're still playing in the game between Union Berlin and Bochum. It's still 1-0 there, but it's full time in the game that we're keeping an eye on. It finished Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 1. Richard Freckleton with the full-time report.
Yes, John, it's finished here. Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 1, and what a turn up for the books this is. Nobody expected this if you look at the previous results that these two teams had, with Mainz losing 4-3 and Bayern Munich romping to a 4-2 win in their previous Bundesliga games. 2 goals from Lee made the difference, one in the first half and the second after 60 minutes. And Sane came with a goal with 87 minutes on the clock. And after that, they didn't really sustain any pressure. And I have to say that Mainz probably deserved to win this game. And Bo Hendrickson, the Mainz manager, was absolutely delighted, dancing on the touchline, and they fully deserve to go 6th in the table as it is. So it's finished here, Mainz 2, Bayern Munich 1.
Thank you very much, Richard Freckleton. I'll tell you, the second half kicked off in a game between Mallorca and Girona in La Liga. It's still 1-0 there. The goals came from the Canadian Laren for Mallorca and Van de Beek for Girona. However, Mariki for Mallorca, the home side, has just been sent off. So they're playing at home with Tenwen, and it's 1-0 there. Let's go to Billy Andrews, because Billy, regardless of the scoreline, it seems like Fulham still think their chance is they can win that game still.
Yeah, their tails are back up. Since I last spoke to you, it's been all Fulham. They've had a couple of really good chances as well. The first fell to Harry Wilson. It's Anthony Robinson down this left-hand side playing as almost like an auxiliary winger, with Alex Iwobi cutting inside to really fill that midfield space. He's crossed it back towards Harry Wilson. It's just bobbled up and hit and gone towards Alisson's goal. Robinson again had a fantastic chance. Alisson was off his line. He went to think it over the top of him, but it went over the top of the bar, and a bit of a bad sight to see for the tiring Liverpool defenders. Adama Traore, Rodrigo Muniz and Ryan Sessegnon are all warming up, ready to come on for Fulham, so I'll let you know when they come on. But 65 minutes gone, Fulham have a corner. It's Liverpool 1, Fulham 1.
In the Championship, more or less, we've got about 20 minutes or so in all the 6 games that are happening at the moment. It's still Blackburn Rovers 2, Luton Town 0, Middlesbrough 1, Millwall 0, Oxford United 1, Sheffield Wednesday 3, Sheffield United 1, Plymouth 0, Stoke 1, Cardiff 1, and Swansea City 2, Sunderland 1. I can tell you there's a VAR at Newcastle. We'll be going to Kane Weirs very shortly on what is happening at the moment. But before that, in fact, no, the game has just resumed. And just give you a quick latest scores from the Scottish Premiership. It's Hibernian 1, Ross County 1, Motherwell 3, Dundee United 2, and St Johnstone 1, St Mirren 1. In fact, also in the La Liga, Mallorca have just scored their second goal. So it's Mallorca with 10 men 2, Girona 1. But first, let's go to Kane Weirs. Kane, subs from Newcastle. I think it's about time to rest some of the players, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 subs from both teams, with Leicester making 3 changes as well. Facunda Buonanotte coming on for Steffi Mavadidi. Caleb Cooley coming on for Hamza Chowdhury in the middle of the park, and Patson Daka coming on for Jamie Vardy, who's not had a sniff whatsoever today. And then Newcastle, you have a look at the subs they're bringing on, and what great players to come on and just maintain the quality, with Sean Longstaff coming on for Bruno Gimrich, Kieran Trippier coming on for Tino Livramento, and Harvey Barnes, the former Leicester City man, coming on for Jacob Murphy. So some good bit of depth in the squad there as Newcastle continue to attack. They've just got a corner there. Good opportunities again for Newcastle, but this still looks like there could be 2, 3, 4 more goals in this game, and Leicester City are hanging on. But 70 minutes played, still Newcastle 4, Leicester 0.
Thank you very much, Kane. Let's go to Billy Andrews. They might be playing with 10 men, Liverpool, but it's a huge chance for the home side.
And it's fallen to Mo Salah, the player you'd want it to fall to. It comes from that corner that Fulham had when you last spoke to me. It's a poor corner, in all honesty, and it's won back by Dominic Szoboszlai. And he flies forward. He flies forward with Gakpo to his right and Salah to his left. It's 3-on-2 against the Fulham defence. He plays the right pass to Mohamed Salah on his left-hand side. First time shot. Salah misses the target. You back him, you put everything on him hitting the target, at least from inside the 18-yard box, but the Egyptian put it wide. We're going to see Darwin Nunez and Emil Smith-Rowe when they enter the fray. I will let you know. Curtis Jones is just down after taking the full force of a shot from Jakic to his ankle, but he's up hobbling around now. And here come the subs. It's Jimenez for Rodrigo Muniz and Andreas Pereira for Emil Smith-Rowe. 1-1 at Anfield.
1-1 at Anfield. I can tell you it's 1-1 at the Molineux. With all the huffs, with all the puffs, Wolverhampton Wanderers have just equalised. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 1. It's the result is not good for either side. They both need the 3 points. But we'll be going to Ross Vernon very shortly on the news of that goal. But first, let's go to Paul James. Paul, a yellow card in your game, and it's still 0-0 with 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'll just tell you about 3 substitutions. The last one just before you arrived. Miles Lewis-Skelly and Mikel Merino have made way for Gabriel Jesus and Thomas Partey, and Leandro Trossard has replaced Gabriel Martinelli. The chance was down the left-hand side for Martinelli when he was caught late by Ashley Young, which gave us our first yellow card of the game. Craig Pawson refereeing the game very sensibly so far. But it's still 0-0 and still chances at an absolute premium for both sides right now. 15 minutes to go.
Thank you very much, Paul. I'll tell you the chances that we have at Newcastle. 23 shots for Newcastle, 9 on target, 4 goals. Leicester, 4 shots, 1 on target, still 0. Kane Weirs, Isaac is off, I believe, and it's probably the right time to do so.
Yeah, good to try and rest Alexander Isak there. And it's young Will Osula, who they signed from Sheffield United in the summer, coming on. His only appearance has been against Wimbledon in the Cup this season, but when he was on, he'd made some good and shoulds and bright chances, so he'll be looking for his first goal for the club today, just as Sandro Tonali nearly scored one of the goals of the season, bringing down a ball in the air and just firing it towards goal, but it hit off the side netting. But Ruud van Nistelrooy just looks absolutely distraught in the dugout at the minute and is thinking, what has happened today? From start to finish, Leicester City have looked nowhere near, and Newcastle really need to go and score a couple more goals and put a real statement down, the marker down, and it takes some of that pressure off Eddie Howe. But 74 minutes played still, Newcastle 4, Leicester 0.
Like we said, it's Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Ipswich 1. Game on, Ross Vernon.
Yes, John Kane, fantastic bit of play from Wolverhampton Wanderers down the left-hand side. Matthias Cunha makes it run his own side, flies it across Muric into the near post. Probably the goalkeeper needs to really do better. Lamina with the header down on to the brilliant wing back on the left-hand side. Ball into Matthias Cunha. Clarks tries to slide into Molyneux on the yellow card, and Williams have equalised now. It's game on at Molyneux. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 1.
Thank you very much, Ross Vernon. Let's go back to Billy Andrews watching Liverpool against Fulham. Substitution started to come to Liverpool, but it's a game that it seems like it's harder than normal. We're playing with 10 men, and we understand that. But Liverpool, they have got that mentality in the top of the league. Great performances. The manager's been named November Manager of the Month in the Premier League. The main man, Mo Salah, Player of the Month for November. And you can't take their chances away, can they?
No, they're always good for a chance or two. In fact, Mo Salah's just fired one high and wide. A bit off balance, I think, the Egyptian. But double change from Arne Slot. He's taken off Curtis Jones and Cody Gakpo and brought on Darwin Nunez and Gerald Konsa. That's moved Trent Alexander-Arnold into midfield alongside Dominic Szoboszlai. So chance to be a bit more attacking from Trent. Gerald Konsa has gone to the right-sided centre-back / right-back position. Well, let's see. There's 20 minutes plus a big chunk of added time because of that injury to Kenny Tete. Anyone's game. It's 1-1 at Anfield.
Thank you very much, Billy Andrews. Let's go to Paul James, because Paul have just seen a yellow card for the England #1, Jordan Pickford.
Yes, it was for kicking the ball away. The referee was very quick to show him the yellow card. Huge chance for Arsenal prior to before that. The cross was swung in from the right-hand side by Bukayo Saka. Gabriel Jesus got his head to it. He was only 4 yards out, but he managed to head the ball behind him, which has been symptomatic of Arsenal's finishing today. But with 12 minutes to go, it's Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
Thank you very much, Paul. We'll go and bring in our producer for this show today, Pat French. Good afternoon, Pat. We've got 4 games tomorrow in the Premier League and 4 big games when we look at it. Let's start with the first game, which is Brighton against Palace, which is the M42 derby of some sort. I know they're about 40, 50 miles away from each other. It's probably one of the longest derbies, isn't it, available? I mean, Brighton on a good form, but you could never rule out Oliver Glasner, can you?
No, I think Palace has picked up a little bit now, so it's a difficult one to call this one because Palace are going to make it difficult. But Brighton are not, they do let goals in. So the way they play is quite interesting. They play quite open and have a high line. So hopefully that will leave space. Maybe players like Izzy will come on his own. So me personally, I think I'm predicting a draw for this one, a 1-1 draw. Because I think Palace are now getting better in what they do. They seem to play the 3 at the back with wing backs, and they are very good defensively. And I'm looking at a draw for this one. I would say 1-1 draw.
Let's quickly move into the second game, the big game of the weekend in the Premier League, Manchester City against Manchester United. We already spoke to Billy Andrews about it, and it's going to be very, very close, isn't it? Manchester United new manager and Manchester City at home, but not one of the best forms of their lives, are they?
No. But then, you got to sway towards City, really. They're playing at home. And whether Manchester United come up, are they going to take the game to City, or are they just going to sit back and try to hit them on the break? If they let City have the ball, eventually I think City will score. Don't know who they've got back. De Bruyne is probably going to be back in midfield. But their midfield I think it's aging. That's why I think where Man United probably could dominate in midfield. It all depends how when Man United turn up, how they're going to play. Are they going to say, look, okay, let's have a go at them? Or are they going to say, we're going to sit back, let them have the ball, and maybe try to counter through midfield because they've got no legs in midfield. So, but because City are at home, I'm probably edging for City. Can't predict the score, but I think City will win this one.
Thank you very much, Pat. We'll come to you for the remainder 2 games because there's been an important goal at Anfield. But who for? changes with all the substitutions that Liverpool have made to try to accommodate that man being sent off. They've just conceded the second goal. It's Liverpool 1, Fulham 2 after 76 minutes. A big goal for Fulham. Whoa, we're going to Billy Andrews very, very shortly on the news of that second goal. But let's go back to Pat French quickly. The third game we're talking about is Chelsea against Brentford tomorrow. West London derby, Pat. It's never easy. I mean, Maresca is doing such a fantastic job, but it's going so unnoticed for Chelsea. But again, you cannot rule out Thomas Frank, can you?
No, you can't. I mean, they're the ones with the early goals, aren't they? But this one, I think Chelsea, I always said when I looked at their side, they've got two sides they put out. They put a side in Europe and they put a side in the Premiership. And I just think that they're lacking probably a keeper and a centre forward. And they're the side, I think, being an Arsenal supporter, I think the side I worry about, who actually can actually put a run together, which they're not far behind Arsenal. If Arsenal don't win today and Chelsea win tomorrow, they're going to be second. So it's all hotting up. But, it's early days. But I think this one, Chelsea will win it. Depending if Brentford get their goal first, let's see. But Brentford will make it hard for them. It's not going to be an easy game. But I think Chelsea, because of the players they've got, the pace they've got up top, and also now Enzo's playing quite well in midfield. And I think, I've forgotten his name now, the classy player in the middle of the park who was injured all last year. He's come in and he is brilliant. So I think for me, Chelsea will win this one. And at the moment, Arsenal, if we talk about Arsenal, they cannot afford to lose this game because Liverpool are losing. So, to be honest, if you look at it, this is looking good for Chelsea. So, Chelsea to win tomorrow. Oh, yeah, sorry, Romeo Lavia, that's it. Thank you, Ross.
I was going to come back to you.
No, he's probably the best. Yeah, he's brilliant. He's for a young player, I think he is. So, this is all looking good for Chelsea, when you look at this. So, Chelsea, now, if Arsenal draw and Liverpool lose, then Chelsea win their game, they're just going to be right behind Liverpool. So, 3-horse race. So, Chelsea to win.
Absolutely. I think Romeo Lavia, I believe the Belgium international who came from Manchester City, but I'm going to let Ross prove me right or wrong on this. We've got one more game to go through at Southampton against Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow, and we'll speak to Fat very, very shortly. But first, let's go to that big, important goal for Fulham. Billy Andrews, 2-1. It's going to be so hard for Liverpool with 10 men trying to accommodate and get second and the third in the remaining, 11 minutes plus stoppage time?
It's going to be hard, but it won't be impossible. Anfield, though, has fallen silent. It's down this left-hand side for Fulham, which has been a danger point all game. I've pointed it out multiple times. Anthony Robinson down this left-hand side. He plays a pass into Emile Smith-Rowe, who finds Alex Iwobi. He then runs past his man, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who tries to pull him back, but gives up halfway through. Iwobi then finds Anthony Robinson, who holds off Joao Concert to pull a cross into the centre of the box. And right in front of Alisson, Rodrigo Muniz is there to just flick it towards goal. It comes off the back of Joe Gomez's boot and in. Alisson was on a heap on the floor, getting some treatment for a concussion. But we are going to see Harvey Elliott and Diogo Jota come on now. Trent's come off for one of them. I'll let you know who the other one is when it happens. But at Anfield, with just over 10 minutes plus added time to go, it's Liverpool 1, Fulham 2.
Thank you very much, Billy Andrews. Let's go to Arsenal. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Paul James, 4 minutes plus stoppage time. Arteta is running out of time, but is he got plan F?
Oh, we're on plan Z right now. To be honest with you, it's been a poor performance by Arsenal. They don't look like scoring, and I think if they played to midnight, they wouldn't score. But if I'm being honest, you have to give credit to Everton. They set up a defensive line that Arsenal have not been able to break down. They've defended Arsenal's free kicks and set pieces and corners in excellent style. Okay, this is it for Arsenal in terms of winning the league. It's a question of now is whether or not they're going to finish in the top 4. That's the battle right now, not the Championship. But at the same time, going back to what I was said about Everton, they've set up perfectly. Come here today and played brilliantly defensively. But we do have 2 minutes left to go, and it's still 0-0.
Thank you very much, Paul. I do love the idea of playing till midnight and not scoring. It's quite interesting. It shows how bad Arsenal at the moment in today's game. We all know, we are aware how good Sean Dyche is when it comes to defence. And he is very, very firm on that. He did save Everton last season. And it looks like he's doing wonders at the moment for Everton away to Arsenal. We've about 3 minutes plus stoppage time. Just confirmation, there's actually Jota who's on for Szoboszlai for Liverpool. So they are going all for it, Liverpool. They've got no choice. They've got about 8 minutes plus stoppage time in that game. They're losing at home by 2-1 to Fulham. And they're playing with 10 men. Let's go to Russ Vernon. We haven't heard from Russ Vernon for a while. Russ, 5 minutes plus stoppage time for Wolves. The way for them to turn it around. Have they been the better side since that goal gone in?
For me, John, I would say no, because Ipswich are still pressing, still trying to get the goals, but Wolves are still trying to get their noses in front for the first time. And then a shot a few moments ago from Mateus Cunha, straight down the throat of Newich in the Ipswich goal. Ipswich have fetched on 2 wingers in this game, in Clark and Taylor, Tapley and Kudus. Jack Clark now on as well, so there's 2 Clarks on the pitch now for Ipswich, Harry and Jack. I'll try not get them mixed up during the game. And Wolves have just had another great chance. Fantastic ball in a few moments ago. Lawson stretching onto it and just nicely just alongside of the post. The Wolves 1, Ipswich Town 1.
Thank you very much, Ross. Let's go to Kane Weirs. 3 minutes plus stoppage time. It's game over, Kane. But, I mean, you spoke about Leicester City's honeymoon is over, or Ruud van Nistelrooy's honeymoon is over. But has he actually brought in any kind of different style of football that might keep them up this season in comparison with a former manager?
Yeah, there looks no change, to be honest. This is a team, and defensively a team that looks like they're going down this year. They might just be out the relegation zone at the minute, but I think come them later stages in the year, that March, April, May time, Leicester City will be in and around there. I do not get why. So an example would be the ball just went into young William Asula, the centre forward for Newcastle, who dropped deep into the centre of the park. For some reason, 31-year-old Connor Cody thinks it's great for him to go in with him and stay there and leave Vestergaard, who's been a shambles as it is over the years in the Premier League, more notably with Southampton, by himself with runners such as Harvey Barnes and now Joe Willock, who's just came on for Anthony Gordon, to go and get him behind. I do not get it. James Justin bombs on the right-hand side and gets high and wide and really isn't as quick as what he is defensively, getting back the other way. And you just look and go, well, there's only really Vestergaard and Christensen who were there against the 3 or 4 players of Newcastle. And it looks so easy, it does. This is something that Ruud van Nistelrooy has to go and change and really go and have an impact on. And obviously in the Netherlands, he was very attacking and probably didn't think about the defensive side as much. He's really going to have to with this side here, because they look all over the place in the shambles. But as we say, 87 minutes played, still Newcastle 4, Leicester 0.
Thank you very much, Kane. Let's go quickly to Billy Andrews. Billy, 5 minutes to go, and a penalty shout as well, wasn't it, for Liverpool?
More hope than expectation, I think, out of the Liverpool players and fans. It sort of hit the arm. It was right down by his side. Harvey Elliott's come on. He's done fantastically well. He's just curled one wide. Sander Bowe's been booked for holding down Diogo Jota, but he's looked lively since he's come on. They're on the attack now. They're still pushing. It could go either way, this game. 2-1 to Fulham. 5 minutes to go plus added time.
I can tell you they're playing 4 minutes of injury time at the Emirates between Arsenal and Everton 0-0. But as we come back from Billy Andrews, an equaliser for Liverpool. 5 minutes to go, plus stoppage time at Anfield. It's Liverpool 2, Fulham 2. I haven't got the goal scorer at the moment, but I'll let you know very, very shortly on that. Newcastle, Leicester. 5 minutes of stoppage time, 5 minutes of misery for Leicester. 4-0 for Newcastle at the moment. But let's go quickly to Paul James, because there was a VAR claim in your game.
Yes, for an Arsenal penalty. Thomas Partey got into the penalty area. Mykolenko got across. In my opinion, he won the ball. And Thomas Partey went over Mykolenko. The VAR have just looked at it quickly. They've already come back and said it's no penalty, and rightly so. Desperate claim by Arsenal at desperate times, but no penalty in my mind. And we've got 3 minutes of stoppage time left. It's 0-0.
Thank you very much, Paul. Let's go to Billy Andrews. It looks like the substitute Jota, who actually is saving Liverpool as it stands.
53 days missed through a muscle injury, 13 games missed, but he's back with a bang. Diogo Jota, it's a fantastic move. He receives the ball, he twists, he turns, and he fires it low past Burnley to, at the moment, rescue a point for a 10-man Liverpool side. But here comes Adama Traore on for Harry Wilson. It's not over yet. It's 4 minutes to go, plus a large chunk of added time. The big man's on for Fulham at Anfield. It's Liverpool 2, Fulham 2.
So let's just give you what's 3 games just got into injury time. 3 minutes at Wolves. It's still 1-1 there. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. They played 3 out of 4 minutes of injury time. Newcastle 4, Leicester City 0. They're halfway through the injury time. It's more or less game over in that game. And, well, I was going to say it's been absolutely unpredictable scorelines at the moment, because Liverpool at home 2-2. They are playing with 10 men, to be fair to them. But Arsenal, let's go back to Paul James. Paul, we've got about 30 seconds, 40 seconds left at your game, Paul. And it's a game, it might be points lost for Arsenal, but it's a point gain for Everton, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's an excellent point game for Everton. They're pulling further and further away from the relegation zone. I never thought for a moment myself that Everton would go down. They've looked very, very solid in this game. When you see this type of performance, it reminds me of Sean Dyche's defensive performances when he was at Burnley. It's very solid, very difficult to break down. And Arsenal, well, they've just not been able to break down this defence or really create anything of any real note that they've been able to do anything with. And when they have had chances, they've not been able to dispatch them. It's been overall a really solid performance by Everton, and they deserve their point today.
Thank you very much, Paul. I can tell you they're still playing in that game, so I'll let you know as soon as that full time hit. They play more. It's 4 minutes of injury time, but they've gone deep into it. So we shall wait and see. Let's go to Russ Vernon, who's watching Wolves against Ipswich. Time is running out on both sides. They both need that 3 points, but yeah, it's probably Wolves is probably the closer, with the chance coming in late in the game.
Yes, John, it was a fantastic effort from Tommy Doyle off on the bench. Found a shot just wide of the person. Lawson's had a couple of decent chances as well in this second half. Found straight to Muric. Ipswich wanted the penalty a few moments ago when Leif Davis went down. Nothing in it for me. And it remains Wolves 1, Ipswich 1. As Jack Clark had a chance a few months ago, which was blocked as well. It remains Wolves 1, Ipswich 1.
Thank you very much. I can tell you here the full time is now confirmed. It finished Arsenal 0, Everton 0. It's not the result that Mikel Arteta was looking for at home. They were firm favourites for that game. Nevertheless, it was 2 points dropped. We got into stoppage time in the game between Liverpool and Fulham, and I can tell you 9 minutes. 9 minutes for Liverpool to get the 3 points. They can still do it. We know how good they can be, but they are playing with 10 men. Let's go back. In fact, before I go to Billy Andrews, I can tell you that's been the third goal I've bullied you, and it's probably the last kick of the game for Ipswich. We're playing in deep on the injury time, and it's Ipswich. Liverpool. I'll start again. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Ipswich 2. We're just waiting for a VAR decision, but that could be Kieran McKenna's greatest win so far this season. Of course, they have beaten Tottenham, but this could be even bigger because they're beating one of the teams that are hovering around them in the relegation zone. So as it stands, it's Wolves 1, Ipswich 2. We're waiting for confirmation for that goal, and we're waiting for Russ Vernon to tell us more about that goal. But first, let's go to Paul James, who have seen a 0-0 draw at the Emirates. It's not good enough at all, isn't it, for Mikel Arteta? Paul James.
No, not good enough at all. I think that's the title gone now for Arsenal. It really is going to be the battle for the top four, which is by no means a certainty either, with Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest and Fulham all knocking on the door. But today, 0-0 is the score. Everton performed very, very well, defending resolutely throughout the game, really creating only one chance for themselves, which was the chance for Doucouré in the first few minutes of the game. Chances at the other end did fall to Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka and a couple for Martin Odegaard, but the finishing was poor, the creativity was poor, and Arsenal will walk away from this one with some regret, I'm sure. It's Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
Thank you very much, Paul. I can tell you the goal does stand for Ipswich. It's Wolves 1, Ipswich 2, scored by Taylor, and it was the last kick of the game because that is now a full-time scoreline. But before we go to Ross Vernon for the news of the goal and the full-time report, let's go for a full-time report of another big game. Newcastle scoring 4 today. Newcastle 4, Leicester City 0. Full-time report with Kane Weirs.
A big win for Newcastle United and a much-needed win for Eddie Howe today. 2 goals from Jacob Murphy, a goal from Bruno Guimaraes and another one from Alexander Isak seals a massive win and a massive 3 points to ease the pressure on Eddie Howe and Newcastle as they end a run of 4 games without a defeat and leave them 1 point away from the European positions. But on the other hand, if we look at Leicester City, the honeymoon period is over for Ruud van Nistelrooy, who has a massive job on his hands to try and keep Leicester City in the Premier League. But from St James's Park, it's full time, where it's Newcastle United 4, Leicester City 0.
Thank you very much. That was Kane Weirs, a happy bunny at home, beating Leicester City by 4-0. Well, we did mention a late drama at Molineux finished. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 2. Ross Vernon, what an ending for Ipswich, isn't it?
Yes, what an ending. Kieran McKenna gets his first victory in the Premier League with Ipswich Town, and it's the two substitutes who combine. Jack Clark's corner is headed over the back post by Jack Taylor, and there was a potential offside for man stood inside in front of the goalkeeper, which he was onside. The goalkeeper had a clear view all the way through. Wolves fought to late defeat at Molineux and late defeat again for Wolverhampton Wanderers after losing last Monday against West Ham. Back-to-back defeats for Wolves and a big priceless victory for Ipswich Town and Molineux. It's full time. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 2. What a win for Kieran McKenna's Tractor Boys.
Thank you very much, Ross Vernon. Yes, a big win. Just to clarify, that is their second win of the season. They've already beaten Spurs away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But nevertheless, this win today is much bigger because they have beaten a team that was hovering around them in the relegation zone. It still keeps them in relegation zone. However, it only leaves them 1 point behind Crystal Palace, who are playing tomorrow. So, let's go to Billy Andrews. His game is the only game that's happening at the moment. 5 minutes into injury time out of 9, Billy. And we're just waiting for that one chance, isn't it, for anyone to grab the 3 points here, don't we?
Well, he's just had 3 chances in a matter of seconds for Liverpool, John. It's absolute pandemonium at Anfield. Diogo Jota's changed the game. They've missed him so much these last 13 games. He cuts inside. And pulls it back towards Van Dijk. And Van Dijk goes to take a shot, but Anthony Robinson flings himself at it. The ball falls to Luis Diaz, who cuts back onto his right, back onto his left, back onto his right, and finally onto his left. He fires a shot. It comes off of Sander Berg. And then falls to Diogo Jota, who leans back and fires it over the top of Bernd Leno's crossbar via a deflection. And from that corner, Konsa's header is straight at Leno. Fulham now on the attack with Robinson and Iwobi. Adama Traore's barely touched the ball. They've not utilised him at all. But again, it could go anywhere. 2-2 at the moment. 5 minutes to go still at Anfield.
Thank you very much, Billy Andrews. We're going to come back for last minute update from Vinny on that game. But let's give you the score lines of the games that we covered today. In the English Premier League, it finished Arsenal 0, Everton 0. A very disappointing night for the Gooners today. They're still playing at Liverpool. It's 2 goals each there. Newcastle, a fantastic win at home against Leicester City. They beat them by 4-0. And the last minute goal, or last kick of the game goal for Ipswich Town, they managed to beat Wolves by 2-1. In the German Bundesliga, earlier today, Richard Freckleton watched Mainz beat Bayern Munich by 2-1. Nevertheless, they're still top of the league, but only just because Bayer Leverkusen have beaten Augsburg away by 2-0. Borussia Mönchengladbach beat Holstein Kiel by 4-1 and finished Union Berlin 1, Bochum 1. Just to remind you, tomorrow's game, the big game between Manchester United City and Manchester United is definitely a game to watch out for. But quickly, let's go back to Billy Andrews. Billy, 1 minute of stoppage time left there. If you have to put your money on any of them between Liverpool and Fulham, who would it go for?
At the moment, I'd say Liverpool. They're pushing and pushing and pushing, but Fulham had just a golden chance about 30 seconds ago. So Anthony Robinson again down this left-hand side. He plays it into Emil Smith-Rowe. He finds Adama Traore, takes a couple of touches and fires one straight at Alisson. Possibly could have done better with a shot, but Liverpool keep pushing and keep pushing. It's all the Reds at the moment. It's 2-2 still at Anfield.
Thank you very much, Billy Andrews. We're coming to the end of the show. Still 1 minute of injury time, so I'm just going to stay on live here just to give you the last minute of that game. And just before we do that, I'm just going to give you the quick storylines from around Europe. It finished in Syria, Cagliari 0, Atalanta 1, 5 points above Napoli, who are in second, who are kicking off any second now. They're playing away to Udinese. In the Nigerian MPFL, it finished Lobby Stars 1, Plateau United 0. With 28 minutes gone in the game between Shooting Stars and Canopilas, it's still 0-0 there. In La Liga, early on today, it finished Espanyol 0, Osasuna 0, and 6 minutes plus stoppage time in the game between Mallorca and Girona. And Mallorca are leading Girona by 2-1. Mallorca playing with 10 men. In French Ligue 1, it's half-time in the game between Marseille and Lille, and it's 1-0 to Marseille as it stands. In the Championship, just quickly, in the Scottish Premiership, it finished Motherwell 4, Dundee United 3, and they're still playing 10 minutes plus injury time in the game between St Johnstone and St Mirren. It's St Johnstone 2, St Mirren 3, and also still playing the game between Hibernian and Ross County. Hibernian are leading Ross County by 3-1. In Liga in Portugal, 71 minutes gone. It's Farense 0, Gil Vicente 1. They are still playing at Liverpool. They've exceeded the 9 minutes of injury time. We'll be finishing the show as soon as full time comes into that show. In fact, it's full time now. It finished Liverpool 2, Fulham 2. Billy Andrews, quickly give us your report on that game.
A chaotic game at Anfield between Liverpool and Fulham. They went 1-0 down inside 10 minutes after a good goal from Andreas Pereira. The ball whipped in by Anthony Robinson, who was man of the match for me this afternoon, came off the back of Andy Robertson. 6 minutes later, Andy Robertson was sent off for a last-ditch tackle on Harry Wilson. His poor touch let the Welshman in, and he just wiped him out along VAR check, though, to see if he was onside, which he was. They got their first equaliser minutes after the second half started. Cody Gakpo with a diving header after a fantastic ball whipped in by Mohamed Salah. Rodrigo Muniz, though, flicked one in from Anthony Robinson's cross. Again, another assist for that man today. And then Diogo Jota, 53 days after picking up a muscle injury, came on to twist and turn through the Fulham defence and fire one past Bernd Leno to snatch the point for Liverpool at Anfield. 37 points picked up from losing position since the start of last season. It finished at Anfield. Liverpool 2, Fulham 2.
Thank you very much, Billy Andrews. Well, that's all what we got for you today. Thank you for the reporters. Thank you all for listening. And thank you for our producer, Pat French. We are back next week on Saturday for another edition of Football Live. I'm John Kane, and this was Football Live. Until next then, goodbye for now.
Thank you very much for joining us today on Football Live. We very much appreciate your company. We hope you can join us again next Saturday afternoon when we return right here on Football Live.